Hi, welcome to today's training on the VariQuest Perfecta STP series printer. This is the printer you have in your school, and I am so excited that you have invested in this VariQuest tool, which is really going to help you engage your students, your parents, and your staff members and community members throughout the school year. My name is Heidi, and I'll be walking you through today's training. So again, this is on the Perfecta STP series. This happens to be the Perfecta 3600 STP. So you either have this one or you have our Perfecta 2400 STP. They are the exact same printer. The only difference is the scanning capacity or the width of the printer. This is obviously a 36-inch wide printer. The other one is a 24-inch wide printer. So whether you have the 2400 STP or this one, you're at the right training. It covers both. Those machines work exactly the same way. You are going to love this machine, as I mentioned. As I was indicating, it is the Perfecta STP series. If you're not familiar, STP means scan to print. So one of the biggest features of the Perfecta series, STP series, is the fact that it has this fully integrated built-in scanner. So it allows you to easily scan and print posters and banners within minutes. It's a great feature, among many other features that are a part of this printer, to, as I said, engage every learner. And I'll be covering all of the different features, all the how-tos, the printer basics with you, supply information, again, how to use the printer so you have a good, comfortable feeling with how to use everything going forward. I'll also be taking a deep dive into our VariQuest software. And included with your investment is our VariQuest software. So some of you may have purchased, along with your Perfecta STP printer, you may have purchased our VariQuest Design Center. Our Design Center is an all-in-one touchscreen computer that comes preloaded with our VariQuest software. And it's through the VariQuest software that you have access to hundreds of pre-designed poster and banner templates. So when I talk about engaging students and parent volunteers and community members, what a great way to do that by accessing the software, utilizing those templates, customizing them to your particular application or need. Really, your possibilities are endless, and it's going to be a really an effective tool in your school. So paired with the VariQuest software, there's a lot you can do, and I will be diving into the software as well. Just to give you an example, I mean, you can see here behind me, I have a number of templates that I have utilized through the software, a number of posters and banners that I have created. And as we just take a quick pan of the room, you can see an example of some of these real rich, full-color posters. They're all curriculum-based and or centered around CTE or fundraising or recognition efforts, etc. So it's a great way to, like I said, engage your all learners. So I think you're going to really dig in deep and enjoy having these tools in your school. Now, as I talk about the VariQuest Design Center, as I said, the software comes preloaded, so it's very convenient that it's already on this dedicated device. If you don't have the Design Center, though, that's okay. As we get towards the end of training, I'm going to talk a little bit about our VariQuest Resource Center. This is an exclusive website for our valued customers like you, where you can create a login and you can access a number of free resources to help maximize your investment. And one of those free resources is the actual software that you can download onto any one of your own devices, either a desktop or a laptop. It does have to be PC compatible. It is not, the software isn't currently compatible with Macs, but it is a free download. So if you don't have the Design Center, you can access it, like I said, via the VariQuest Resource Center, put it on your own computers. And another great feature or cool thing to point out is that there aren't any licensing restrictions with this software. So you can put it on as many computers in your school building as you'd like. That way you're really maximizing your investment because you're allowing teachers and maybe your media specialists or your paras, your parent volunteers, to have the software on their own workstation. That way they can peruse the software, look at the various templates when they're in their own workspace during their own time, and then they can modify those templates as well and proceed to print to poster size. So it's going to be a nice time savings, and again, there aren't any licensing restrictions. So you can even put it on a home computer. And teachers, I know you guys are nonstop, with your lesson planning and you're prepping for the next day. You can can prep ahead of time by having the VariQuest software on your home computer. A couple things to note, the Perfecta series is a Wi-Fi printer, so you don't have, it works wirelessly of course. It even has what we call Wi-Fi Direct, so the printer has its own hotspot. So you have two choices, whether you have the Design Center or you put the software on a computer. You can connect via Wi-Fi through your school's network or through the printer's hotspot, which is really the way to go, which is really what we recommend. And I'll be covering that here in just a few minutes too. So you have that option. You can have, when you're using Wi-Fi Direct, you can have 5 devices, up to 5 devices connected at one time. So another option for you to consider too as it relates to the software, if you are working on it remotely, let's say at home, you've modified a template through the VariQuest software, you can save it and you can export it onto a thumb drive, and then during your prep time, you can walk into the workroom area wherever you have the printer set up and you can import that save file into the VariQuest software on a device that's connected to the Perfecta, and you can proceed to print it to poster size. So you've got really just a lot of different options available to you. And this will probably make a little bit more sense after we dive a little further into the software, but again, just kind of giving you a broad overview of some of the capabilities that you have with your investment. As I talk a little bit more about the Design Center, not only does it come preloaded with the software, but it also has 4 USB ports available. There are 2 in the back, and there are 2 on the side. The 2 in the back you want to use probably for the keyboard and mouse that came with your Design Center as well, to set it up like a regular workstation. It is a touch screen, as I mentioned, so easy with a simple touch to navigate through the software. The keyboard and mouse will help a lot with editing or modifying those templates. So those can connect into the back USB ports. It's a best practice to leave one of the USB ports on the left of the Design Center open, because you can take a thumb drive then. If you've saved a file, you're going to import it in, easy access with your thumb drive. You can also upload your own graphics, and you can also upload PDF files and print that way. And again, I'll be touching all of that throughout our training today. So those are some of the great features of the Design Center. With regards to the Perfecta, also included with your investment, besides the printer, you've got a nice printer stand that's on wheels, so it makes it easy to take a large printer like this and wheel it from room to room, or wheel it out of the way if you're in a big open house, for example. It has a nice catcher, mesh catcher, so you can catch your posters and banners as you're printing them. And my hope is that as you're watching this video, that you've had an opportunity already to assemble your printer, because that's the first step, obviously. Taking it out of the box, assembling the printer stand, and positioning it on top of the stand. Anybody in your school can do it. It's really not that difficult. And we do have a very detailed tutorial. It's our assembly instructional video tutorial that will walk you step by step through that process of setting everything up and getting it ready to go. So if you haven't set things up yet, that's okay. You can access that video again on our VariQuest Resource Center training page, and that video will again guide you through that entire process. And we are here to help. Before I leave you today, I'm going to give you our 800 number, so you can always reach out, ask those questions. We can guide you over the phone as well. And some of you have your education consultants that are nearby that will be checking in with you as well to make sure everything is set up and ready to go. Included with your investment also is a roll of our heavyweight coated paper. Now, when you have the 3600 STP, and again, that's what you see here, that's what I'm training on today, the 3600 STP allows you to use 36-inch wide paper or 24-inch wide. And I have a poster over to the left of me that I'll show you real quick, our welcome poster. That is a good example of a poster that was done with 36-inch wide paper. Nice and large, great to put in your main school hallway or main entrance area to welcome your parents and community members. But we recognize that you don't always have that kind of real estate for a large poster like that, so you have the 24-inch size as well. The posters that you see behind me were all created with 24-inch wide paper, great for those classroom posters. And there's a few different sizes that you can print in that I'll be talking about in a minute. With the 2400 STP, your max paper width is, of course, 24 inches. So with that said, you all received a roll of our heavyweight coated paper. It's 36 inches if you have the 3600, 24 inches if you have the 2400. This is a type of paper that is used on a daily basis. You will find that it's a very nice, sturdy paper. It does very, as you can see behind me, rich in color, very vibrant posters and banners. So you're going to love this paper option. And again, you got a full roll with your investment. It can also be hot or cold laminated, so you can safely protect it for reuse. And if you have our VariQuest cold laminator 2510, you can put that to great use. It's an excellent complement to the Perfecta series. You can safely and easily laminate any of those posters that you've created. So that is our heavyweight coated paper. You also did get a full set of ink. And the ink cartridges get loaded on the, if you're facing the printer, on the back right, there's a black compartment door that opens. You've got 4 color-coded slots. You can just drop the ink right in there. And again, we've provided a full set, so you have everything you need to get started in making some awesome posters and banners. Now, there is another video that walks you through how to install your paper and how to install your ink. But just basically to give you an overview, and I encourage you to watch the video if you need some guidance, but it is pretty straightforward. To give you a quick overview, basically your paper gets loaded in the top of the Perfecta. There's a spindle. Once you open up your cover, there's a spindle that you lift out. There's a blue end cap that you remove. You just position your roll of paper on the spindle up against the black end cap. Put your blue end cap back on. Make sure those end caps are nice and snug up against either side of the roll of paper. There is a graphic on the spindle that shows you the orientation, so the paper is always going to feed over the roll. And then it simply cradles in the top of the printer. When you have it in place, then you just take and gradually feed the paper down into the printer till you feel some resistance. You'll also hear a beep. That means the paper has been detected, and then your attention is going to be drawn to this control panel. This 6-inch graphical interface touchscreen allows you to continue installing your supplies. It will also give you different, error messages and little updates and whatnot as you are using the printer. So this is your control panel, if you will. When your paper has been detected, it will list various paper categories and paper types. You'll get a drop-down menu. From there you can choose your category, which is mostly going to be bond or coated, and then your paper type, which will be heavyweight coated. So you'll want to select that paper choice. It is important that because we do have different paper types that I'm going to talk about in a minute, but it is important that you select the right paper type that matches with what's in your machine for optimum print quality. So select heavyweight coated in most cases, and then you'll have a prompt in the lower right corner that says load roll. You're going to tap on that, and then it loads itself. It couldn't be any easier. It loads itself very easily. Just takes a couple seconds to do. It even checks the paper skew to make sure that it's in good alignment to have a nice straight edge. It may shear off a little extra to get that straight edge, but then you're ready to go. You'll get a prompt that says that the paper has been loaded successfully. You close your cover and you're ready to go. And we'll zoom in on the control panel here in just a few minutes, but basically on the main menu you've got a rolled icon and you've got a multi-sheet tray icon, which is your middle icon. The multi-sheet tray is inserted or installed in the back of the Perfecta. You probably noticed that when you were positioning everything or setting everything up. The multi-sheet tray allows you to print 13 by 19 and 8.5 by 11 prints. So we did give you a couple sample sheets of our 13 by 19 inch heavyweight coated paper. That paper is ideal, or that size is ideal for mini size posters. So when you're tight on space, you might want to consider using that paper for a smaller size poster if you want to conserve on ink as well. It's a great mini size poster. If you were to buy a box, you would get 40 sheets to a box. But again, we gave you a couple sample sheets to try it out. And then in that multi-sheet tray, you can also house 8.5 by 11, just regular copy or bond paper, which is going to be so ideal for you because you can print any poster and then proceed to print 8.5 by 11 student copies. Or let's say that for that additional reinforcement. Or let's say you're hosting a big event, a school carnival or some big event in your school, and you've got your posters promoting the event throughout your school building, and you want to print individual 8.5 by 11 copies of that as flyers to pass out, you can easily do that. So that's a unique feature to our Perfecta series as well. Having that multi-sheet tray for those student copies, for those promotional flyers, lots of great uses there. It even lends itself nicely for those test prints as well. So great way to conserve on your paper if you just want to do a quick test print to make sure that it's exactly how you want it. So that's our multi-sheet tray. So you're going to find that when you have your roll of paper installed, your rolled icon is checked. When you unload your roll of paper, the multi-sheet tray becomes the default, and that icon is checked, and that's how you print those 13 by 19 and 8.5 by 11 copies. Again, I'll zoom in a second, but before I do, I mentioned that there are other paper types available. So just to give a quick recap of that, and by the way, all of your supply information you will find right on our website, VariQuest.com. There's a new supply tab right on the top when you are on our home page, or as you create your account and you access our VariQuest Resource Center, again, an exclusive website for VariQuest customers only. By product, on the left margin, by product, we have the supplies listed there. We've got all the training videos listed there, tech information, etc. You're going to find that to be a really awesome site. And I'll talk a little bit more about that before the end of our training. But just to highlight real quick the different paper types available. Again, the heavyweight coated is what you received, and that's what you're going to use on a daily basis. But we also offer a semi-gloss and a gloss paper. So these are photo papers that are ideal for photographic images. So if you're doing some recognition posters, you're doing some fundraising posters to support your booster clubs and your CTE efforts, and you're uploading photographs, you might want to consider the semi-gloss or the gloss paper. The semi-gloss gives you a nice satin finish to it. The gloss paper gives you a real photo finish quality. It's a beautiful poster when it's all done, and again, that is the gloss paper. Now that being said, you can easily upload your pictures on heavyweight coated paper as well. I've got a banner that's hanging right over to the left of me that has a picture of a little boy that, as you can see, a perfect attendance banner. That was printed on heavyweight coated paper, and it looks great. So you don't have to use the photo types of paper, but they do give a more of an upgraded finish to them, and they are ideal for fundraising and recognition purposes. So for your consideration, we also offer a matte polypropylene paper. This is a tear-resistant paper. So this is ideal for banners. If you're printing a big banner, you're going to hang it in your gymnasium or your main school hallway, and you just want to make sure that it doesn't fall and rip on you because it's so large. Know that the matte polypropylene will do the trick. It is a tear-resistant paper. So being that it's tear resistant, again, it lends itself nicely to that banner use. This type of paper cannot go through a hot laminator, so just be mindful of that. It really doesn't need to be laminated at all, but if you do have our cold laminator, you can safely laminate that banner through the cold laminator as well. So that is our matte polypropylene paper. We also have a bond paper, which is for economy prints. So this is an ideal paper for saving some money. It is, instead of 100 feet to a roll, you get 150 feet. So on average, you're saving about $1.25 to $1.50 per poster. So it is a nice cost savings for those short-term posters. Posters that you're going to hang on the wall. Maybe you're promoting a particular fundraising event. It's the week of, it's a book fair that's going on. You have 2 more days to promote it. You want to print out a few more posters. If you do it on the bond paper, that's great because you know you're just going to tear it down. You're not going to reuse it. You're going to tear it down and throw away. So why not save that money? It's also great in the classroom, I think, when you're using it for cooperative group learning. Students have their graphic organizers and poster size. They're collaborating as a group, filling out their, interacting with that poster, filling it out. And then they're going to report their findings, on that completed graphic organizer. And then maybe it's going to hang on your wall for a couple days, and then you're going to just tear those down and throw them away. Again, great use for that bond paper. Or posters that are going to be hung in the teacher's lounge and maybe in areas that aren't highly visible, and or also great for test prints. So take advantage of that cost savings. Now, something you will note with the bond paper is that it is a flimsier paper, and the color isn't as rich and vibrant. So it's definitely not the quality of our heavyweight coated and our other types of paper, but it is great for short-term use, so you can keep that in mind. We also offer in the 24-inch width size only a repositionable paper. So that's great for those posters where you're not quite sure how you're going to hang them. Are you going to put them, hang them with tacks or tape? Maybe you can't do that in that particular area, so you want an easier way. Well, this type of paper gives you that adhesive back. So you print your poster, you peel off the back, you're able to mount it on your hard surface. You're also then able to take it down, reposition it elsewhere, and it doesn't leave any sticky residue behind. So that's our heavyweight coated repositionable paper. It comes also in a mounting kit, so you can buy it as a single roll, or you can buy it in our mounting kit, which gives you a single roll of that paper, and then you get white foam core boards that are cut to poster size, so you can do everything in-house. You can print your poster, peel off the back, mount it on your foam core board, and now you've got it without having to cut anything and mess around with that. You've got it ready then to prop on your easel or up against a door or a desk or whatever. So another great application idea with purchasing or considering the mounting kit. So those are all of our rolled paper options. I told you how easy it is to install a roll of paper, and you also have that video to consult. Again, just keep in mind that when the paper's been detected, you will always have those drop-down paper type options. Always choose what matches with what's in your machine for optimum print quality. And then you have the multi-sheet tray, as I mentioned, for those 8.5 by 11 and 13 by 19-inch prints. There is a tray. I'm not going to extend it right now because my roll of paper is installed, but right where my hand is, there's a tray that extends when you are printing from the multi-sheet tray to collect those sheet fed prints. So at this time, I will go ahead and zoom in onto the control panel just to show you a few different things. There's one setup, or a couple of setup features or best practices that I want to review with you, etc. So we've got a nice tight shot now of the control panel. This is where I'm on the main menu, as you can see, so you can see a little better here how the rolled icon that is checked, because that's the detected paper that's in the Perfecta. When you want to activate your multi-sheet tray, you would just tap on your roll icon, and in the lower right corner you see a button that reads Unload Roll. You would just tap on that. That would unload your roll of paper. You can still leave it in your printer. It can still be cradled in the top, but then you'll notice that the multi-sheet tray will have that little blue check mark. That's how you print your sheet-fed prints, as I mentioned. So I wanted to point that out. I also wanted to show you, I talked about how this printer has its own Wi-Fi and own hotspot. So to find out what the printer name is, the correct printer name is, so when you're connecting your device, this is the printer name you're going to look for. Here's where you can find the password as well. What you're going to do from this control panel is you're just going to, in the middle, swipe down, and you're going to see the third option down is the actual name of the printer. Now, of course, it is a VariQuest Perfecta STP printer, but we have partnered with HP, and we have modeled this model after their Design Jet series. So what you're going to be actually finding on your device is, or looking for, is the printer name that starts direct HP Design Jet by HP. So let me go back to where I was. So again, it's going to be listed down below, direct HP Design Jet, and then the model number. That's the printer name that you want to look for. Again, we've just partnered with them to model it after their Design Jet series, but they have made this printer along with us exclusive for schools, exclusive for VariQuest as well. But that's the official printer name, and then down below is where you can see the password. So that's what you're going to enter in. And also noted in your quick start guide. So if you need further instructions, you did get a quick start guide, a little pamphlet that will show you or walk you step by step through that process. You have the option as well to connect to your school's network, as I mentioned, but most are choosing to connect to Wi-Fi direct to keep it a little bit more secured. So that's a little bit about that. Then this one-time only setup that I want to review with you next has to do with the built-in scanner. So we want to make sure when you're scanning something, your original, we want to make sure that it sizes to the appropriate size that matches the detected media that's in your printer. So what you have to do, and this is also noted in your quick start guide, but what you want to do is down below you've got these blue menu options that read paper, copy, scan, and print. It's actually, when you're scanning to print something to poster size, it's actually copy that you choose. So think of it in terms of you're copying your original to poster or banner size. So you're going to start by tapping copy, and then for this exercise you can choose whether it's text, image, or mixed, it doesn't matter. And then you're going to note in the lower left corner there's a settings wheel. You're going to tap on that, and you're going to scroll down until you see resize. You're going to then tap on resize. You're going to tap this middle option that reads fit to. Then you're going to tap the top option that reads loaded paper source. And then the last step, and this gets forgotten by some people, so try to remember this next piece because it's very important. Once you get back to this drop-down menu again, you want to tap on Save Current Settings, because otherwise it's not going to save what you just did. And of course we don't want to do this each and every time. So Save Current Settings, then just tap Save and confirm, okay, that setting has been saved. Now you don't have to worry about that going forward. The other thing, and I'll just tap on the home button to go back to my home screen, the other important piece too when you're setting everything up is to set your printer so that it doesn't turn off ever. It is a best practice to leave your printer on at all times, even when you take breaks for the holidays or over the summer months or whatever. Leave your printer on because it goes through its own routine maintenance checks. And that's important for the well-being and the good function of the printer, making sure the print head and the print cartridges or ink cartridges are working properly. So you want it to perform those periodic maintenance checks. So to help with that effort, when you are looking at your main menu and you swipe down, you've got another toolbar that's up on top. In the upper left corner is another settings wheel that you want to tap on. From the drop-down menu, you're going to scroll until you see Auto Off. You're going to tap on that and just tap on the top option that reads Never. So that means it's going to stay on, and you don't want to power it off either because, again, you want it to cycle through those maintenance checks. Once you've done that, to conserve energy, we recommend that you then select sleep mode, which is right below auto off, and set the duration of time that you want it to slip into sleep mode after it hasn't been in use. So you've got some different time options. Just set the time that you want it to go into sleep mode to help conserve energy. What it'll do is the screen will go dark. It looks like it's turned off, but it's, again, just in sleep mode. Conserving that energy, you can just tap on it to wake it up or start printing again. So that's what I encourage you to do. Just set your sleep mode, and then you can return back to your home screen again. So those are a couple important pieces that I wanted to be sure to mention to you. Also, make sure, since we are keeping your printer powered on at all times, that you have it connected to a surge protector. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out again and talk a little bit more. Oh, actually, before we do, I'm going to stay zoomed in because I want to show you. I talked about the ink and where you put your ink and how easy it is to drop your various cartridges into the color-coded slots. I wanted to point out, if you want to see where your levels of ink are, again, from this top toolbar here, you've got a little ink icon. You can tap on that, and that shows you where your levels are at. That's great for reordering purposes, so perhaps you're reordering with us every month or quarterly or whatever it might be. Nice to see where your ink levels are at so you know how much ink to purchase from VariQuest. So I wanted to show that. Now I'll zoom back out again. And as I talk a little further about the ink, I did want to point out it's a really nice convenient feature with the Perfecta series in the fact that when you're printing something and you're running low with a particular ink cartridge, you will get a prompt on your control panel that says this color is running low. It will tell you to keep on printing, so you can use it all up, and but it's just giving you an indication that you might want to grab another cartridge from your supply cabinet, or at that point order more ink from VariQuest. And then when you're printing and you fully deplete a cartridge, you'll get another prompt that says that this cartridge is depleted. It tells you what color, and it just pauses your print job. It doesn't stop it completely, which is nice. So it just pauses it. You are able to then replace your ink, and it resumes where it left off. So I love that feature. It makes it so easy. Now, as I mentioned earlier, one of the main uses of a popular use of the Perfecta STP series is this fully integrated scanner. And what is unique is the fact that it is fully integrated, so it makes it very easy. It's a sleek design. You don't have all these different cords and bells and whistles and whatnot. It's as I said, fully integrated. And you've got this wide scanning capacity. Again, with the 3600, you've got up to 36 inches. So you can scan something from 6 inches all the way to 36 inches in width. With the 2400, it's 6 inches to 24 inches wide. So what's cool about that is you can scan small to big, which you'll probably do most often. You know, something that's 8.5 by 11 in size. You can scan small to big, or you can scan big to small. And what I love to say about that is you can take, like, let's say a filled-in graphic organizer that you've done as a whole class activity. You can take that filled-in graphic organizer, scan it through, and because of the multi-sheet tray and the ability to house 8.5 by 11 copy paper, you can then scan and print individual student copies. So now students have an individual copy of what you've done as a whole class for that additional reinforcement outside of the classroom. So that's a great feature. You can also use that large scanning capacity for student artwork, graphic designs. Just really, there's endless possibilities with that scanning range, which is really nice. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to use the scanner at this point. I wanted to point out this 8.5 by 11 original that I have is one that is specifically designed for VariQuest, that resides not in the VariQuest software, but on our VariQuest Resource Center. So just another little plug for the VariQuest Resource Center and all these free resources. When you have your login created, when you access that site, you have a whole section under the Perfecta series of downloadable content. We've given you a lot of different poster templates like this, again, outside of the software, that are, you know, kind of centered around various lessons that we've blogged about. They're thematic, or just overall, you know, best practices that you want to, you know, enlarge and put in your classroom. So this was saved as a PDF file, so I just printed it from downloaded it and printed it on my regular printer so that I can show you how to use the scan to print feature. But you can also just save that PDF on a thumb drive, download it, save it on your thumb drive. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, when we dive into the software, how easy it is to bring in that PDF file and print to poster size. So you've got a couple different options. But as we review the scanning process, first of all, you've got this great label that tells you step by step what to do. So anybody can walk up and easily scan something through. You've also got a graphic that shows you the different sizes. So if you're going to scan something, you know, portrait oriented, you're going to get your maximum poster size. And this graphic depicts that and gives you the size. So you're going to get your maximum poster size. But if you want more of a medium size poster, just scan it this way. Scan it horizontally or landscape, and you're going to utilize the same, you know, the exact width of the paper, but it's going to shrink your overall image down, and you're going to end up with more of a medium size poster. So for example, if you're using 24-inch wide paper, you're going to end up with, instead of a 24 by like 32-inch poster, you're going to end up with a 24 by about an 18-inch poster. So nice that you can just change the direction, and that will affect the output size. And then keep in mind too that you can also unload your roll of paper, you can activate your multi-sheet tray, and anything you scan can be printed, as mentioned earlier, as a 13 by 19-inch poster or an 8.5 by 11 student copy. Now, when you are reading the directions and you're looking at your control panel, it's actually, and I said this already, sorry, it is copy that you are going to select versus scan, because you're, again, copying it to poster size. So start by tapping on copy to start the process. Now you'll look at your original and select if it's just all text, if it's just a graphic. Maybe it's a graphic of a sports team, your football team just, you know, is going to state or something, and you want to promote that school spirit. You can just take that photo and scan it through to poster or banner size as well. So you would just select image, or if it's mixed like this, you've got text and graphics, select mixed. And then here's where you can enter in your quantity. How many copies do you want? And then you can also, under paper source, you can, if the rolled paper is detected, you can tap on that drop down arrow, and you can select the multi-sheet tray, and then it'll prompt you to unload your roll, and you can then activate the multi-sheet tray that way. so that's how you can toggle. And then you also have your quality button. You've got a little, again, drop-down arrow you can tap on. There's actually 3 print qualities that you can print in, which are best, normal, and fast. Typically, we suggest as a best practice that you're just going to have normal selected. That's going to give you a great poster or banner each and every time. That looks beautiful when it's hung on your wall. But if you want the best possible quality, just switch it to best by tapping on it. Or if quality doesn't matter, speed is more important, you can switch it to fast. It'll print a lot faster. Your quality will be somewhat compromised. You'll have more banding going on with the ink, but you'll get a faster poster. So if it's a test print or something that doesn't really matter, you might want to switch it to fast, but for the most part, you're going to just leave it set at normal. So then when you're ready to copy it, you're just going to tap the blue copy button again in the lower right corner. And then here's the one difference between the 3600 STP and the 2400 STP. You will note with the 3600, the orange arrow that you're going to align your original with is in the middle. With the 2400 STP, the orange arrow is on the right. So wherever the arrow is, just align your original in the center of that arrow. And once you do, it just catches. And now it's going to proceed to scan it through. And once it fully scans, then it starts to print. Now you'll see that it scans through. If ever you misfeed it ever so slightly, that's okay. If it gets stuck, it'll just stop. This is actually a cover, so you can easily open up the cover and remove your original. There's a button here on the left and on the right. Just push on those buttons, it opens the cover. You can retrieve your original and start again. Also with your Perfecta, when you were setting everything up, you probably noticed you've got these 2 plastic clips. They hang on the outer edge or kind of in the center of your Perfecta. These are called anti-refeed clips. So you saw how the original goes in and it comes out the same way. Well, if you're scanning something bigger in size, we want to make sure that it doesn't refeed itself. So these clips will prevent that from happening. So be sure to clip those on. Your user's guide will show you exactly how to do that. But make sure those are in place to prevent it from refeeding. Once it's fully scanned, there is an eject button that you can tap on. It ejects your original and then it starts to print. So I'm going to let it print for just a couple minutes and so you can see the process. Something you're going to really love, another quality and great asset to the Perfecta series is how quiet it is. So it's a compact, easy to use printer, but it's also super duper quiet. So wherever you put it, it's not going to be disruptive at all. It's also very efficient. You're going to get a good quality poster in just a couple of minutes. So some really great qualities to this printer, of course. So while it prints for a couple minutes, I do want to also tell you about the ability to print certificates. So we're printing posters and banners, and that's going to be your primary use. But keep in mind, because of the multi-sheet tray, that you can print certificates as well. So you can load your certificate paper in the multi-sheet tray. And when we dive into the VariQuest software, you're going to see how we have 10 templates, pre-designed templates for certificates where you can modify your certificate. You can upload your school mascot, you can modify it how you wish, and then you can proceed to print these certificates out. And I'll tell you that we do sell certificate paper in the gold foil and then also in the silver foiled paper. We sell these gold seals, as you can see. We sell these black jackets as well. So if you're interested in buying your certificate supplies from VariQuest, that's an option, but you don't have to. You can use your own supplies as well. But a great way to easily recognize your students, your staff, your parent volunteers, etc., by using and taking advantage of the multi-sheet tray and the ability to print certificates. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. So now this is printing a little bit. I want to save on my supplies. So, and this is important to note for you too, if ever you notice that it's not printing the way you want it, maybe you've made a spelling error or there's something that needs correcting, rather than wasting your supply, while it's printing, you'll see that there is an X in the lower left corner. Just tap on that X and that will stop your print job. So what will happen, as you can see, is it'll come to a stop and then it'll shear it off. So you can make your corrections and start all over again. So here's just an example of what I was printing on the 36-inch heavyweight coated paper. So And again, check out our VariQuest Resource Center because that's where I got this great PDF file, which is available to all of our end users like you. So that's how you can use the built-in scanner. Another cool feature of the VariQuest Perfecta STP series is the ability to scan and save digitally. So you probably have noticed that there is an open USB port on your Perfecta printer that allows you to insert your USB stick, your thumb drive, and you can scan something and save it digitally. So rather than printing it as a poster, save it electronically, and now you can archive it, you can email it, you can do whatever you want with it. Great for student artwork, let's say. They've created this beautiful bit of artwork. They can scan it, or you can scan it through for them and save it on a thumb drive, and you can give it to them so they can build their digital portfolio, for example. Great way to email parents, keep them in the loop what their students are up to. Maybe there was a student that scored a perfect score on their test and it's really worth celebrating. Scan that through, save it on your thumb drive, and then email it to the parents so they can celebrate with their students. So lots of great capabilities there. So once you've inserted your thumb drive, you'll actually see the USB icon that you're going to tap on, and then you're actually going to tap on scan versus copy. So from the home screen, these blue buttons down below, scan is when you're going to scan and save it electronically. So tap scan, follow the same process of scanning, and this time it'll save it right to your thumb drive versus printing out to poster size. So I love that feature. The other cool feature with using the open USB port is the fact that you can take your thumb drive and you can print a graphic directly from your thumb drive to poster or banner size. It's a graphic, it's not a PDF. So the two file formats that we recommend or that are accepted are JPEG and TIFF files. PDF files, as I mentioned earlier, print directly through the VariQuest software, which we'll show in a second, or which I will show. But once you have your thumb drive loaded, you're going to tap on the blue print button, you're going to tap on your USB, and then you're going to choose your file, your graphic that you want to print, and it will print directly. So great way to print things on the fly if it's a graphic right from your thumb drive. So another feature that I wanted to review with you. Before we dive into the software, I also want to share that you can print from a mobile device. So you can take your smartphone, your iPad, your tablet, whatever it is, and you can print directly from your mobile device. And that's where having the printer's own hotspot really helps because we do get the question, how do we keep this more secured so students can't necessarily pull up something on their phone and proceed to print to poster size. Well, that's how we can control it through the printer's Wi-Fi Direct. So with whatever you have pulled up on your phone, if it's a PDF, it's an image, just tap on that and then tap that you want to print it. When it takes you to your Wi-Fi settings, that's where you will look again for to detect. Look for the printer name that's been detected. Again, it's going to start as an HP Design Jet series printer. You're going to look for that, and then you're going to enter, when prompted, enter in that password. Then you're connected, and you can proceed to print from a mobile device. So it couldn't be any easier. Again, you have to be to detect the hotspot in closer range or whatever, but still really, really easy and convenient. It's also, those instructions are noted in your quick start guide as well. So if you need to learn a little bit more about that, you can consult your guide for that. So thus far, I've talked about how to set up your printer, and referred you to our assembly instructional video. Talked about supplies, installing your paper and your ink, and referred you to another video that walks you through that. We talked about some of the basic setup features and how to scan a print to poster size, how to scan and save digitally, and also how to print from a mobile device. So we've made some good progress. Now what I'd like to do is take myself out of the picture. We are going to zoom in onto the VariQuest Design Center because I'm anxious to give you a deep dive and show you how great this VariQuest software is with all this rich content to engage all learners. So let's go ahead and zoom in right now, and I'll again walk you through how easy it is to use the software. A couple things to keep in mind, as I mentioned, if you don't have the Design Center, that's okay. Again, the software is a free download from our VariQuest Resource Center onto any of your own PC compatible computers, desktops or laptops, no licensing restrictions, so you can really maximize your investment. And I know I'm going to zoom out one more time because I wanted to say one other thing that I think is important. If you choose not to put the software on multiple computers, that's again your choice. We encourage you to do so, but if you don't, that's again your choice. But I wanted to say there's another great way to get the word out to all of your teachers and staff as far as all the valuable templates that are available. We have hundreds of pre-designed full-color templates. We've got thousands of full-color graphics. And on our VariQuest Resource Center, again, on the left margin where you're going to see all the products listed, you are going to see our Engage Every Learner content. You can tap on that as a menu option on the left, and that's going to give you access to a Perfecta content guide. It's a flip book that gives you a picture of all the various templates, poster and banner templates that we offer. Each one has a unique ID associated with it, which is down below. So what I recommend doing is going to the flip book, copying that link, and sending it to all of your staff members, all your teachers, all your staff and parent volunteers and whatnot, because they can then peruse that flip book on their own and decide what they want to make before they go to actually make it. And that's going to be such a nice time saver. We know how busy everybody at your school is, so if you can be more thoughtful and flip through that book and decide what it is that you want to create, jot down that ID, then during prep time or before or after school, you can come into the workroom area and you can search for that template just by putting in the unique ID, and it goes right to that template and you're ready to start designing. So that's going to save a lot of time. The other option is you can download that content guide, print it, it's a PDF file, you can print it, you can download it as a PDF file and you can proceed to print it. Put those pages that shows the various content in a binder, a 3-ring binder, and just put it right by your design center or right by your Perfecta. So teachers can walk up, they can flip through and decide what it is that they want to create. So that digital content guide is huge, and it again is found on the VariQuest Resource Center. And again, I'll talk about that at the end of our training, how to establish your login, etc. So with that said, let me go back and zoom in again on the VariQuest Design Center and we'll dive in. So as I mentioned earlier, the Design Center is a touch screen, easily allowing you to touch the screen to navigate with the software, but you do have a keyboard and a mouse as well. I'm using my mouse today to go through the software just because it makes it a little easier, especially when going to edit. But when you first turn your Design Center on, or if you've got the software on your computer, you first power it or click on the icon and open up the software, it's going to take you for the very, very first time. It's one time only. It's going to take you through a quick setup tutorial. So it's going to take you, there's a tab here that reads Workroom Assistant. It's going to take you here. It's going to take you automatically into setup and into output devices. Here's where you're going to want to identify or make sure under Design Center devices that you see the Perfecta STP series listed. Again, you're not physically connecting to the Design Center, you're connecting via Wi-Fi, but you want to make sure it has been properly connected and you want to see that box or that picture there, that box should be checked. If you have these other VariQuest tools in your school and they are also connected to your Design Center, that's awesome. You've got enough USB ports to connect those devices as well. You will see those devices listed here. Those boxes should be checked, so they'll appear on the main menu. If you don't have those VariQuest tools in your school yet, you can always deselect those devices too if they appear to be checked here, so that you're not seeing them on the main menu. So that's a little tip for you. And I should also point out real quick, I'm going to go right here. Here's that exit button in the upper right corner. When you are connecting to Wi-Fi, just go ahead and minimize the software. It opens up, your desktop, and it's down below that you click to see your Wi-Fi buttons, and that's where you will then text that printer, the HP DesignJet printer, which is the VariQuest Perfecta, as I mentioned. Select that, enter the password, and you're good to go. So that's how you connect the device. Don't hesitate to look at the Quick Start Guide too, again, if you need a little additional instruction on that. But once you've gone through output devices, then it's going to automatically take you into school information. Here is where you can put in the name of your school and you can upload your mascot. So whatever you put on this page here automatically populates onto the templates that require a school name and mascot. So it's tailoring your template specific for your school. So talk about a great way to promote your school brand. With your name and your mascot already uploaded onto these templates, you're doing a great job of representing your school and your school brand. Great for those fundraising efforts. Just a really easy, quick step to do from this area of the software. So here you would just simply click on Edit Name, put your, from this keyboard, type in the name of your school, click OK. When you save it here, it saves it on the various templates. And then for your mascot, just have it saved on a thumb drive and insert that in the available USB port on the, I think I was saying left, it's actually on the right of your design center. You can't miss it, there's 2 USB ports. But insert your thumb drive, and then when you click Browse, under the Drives column, you will select the drive that your mascot's found on, the folder, etc. You can preview the mascot here, and when you click OK, it saves it here as well as onto various templates. So don't forget to take this step and complete this information, because it really is going to save you some time in the end. So again, that's on under school information. Also under setup is nameless. I'm going to come back to this in a second or in a few minutes, but nameless, the only time that would apply where you can upload a list of names is when you're printing certificates. So we recognize that you're not going to be printing typically one certificate at a time, but in groups. So nice to know that you can upload your list of names and pull that list onto your template so that it prints an individual certificate for an individual student or whomever. And it does it in batches of up to 50 at a time. So that's kind of a neat feature. I'll show you that in better detail here in just a few minutes. So it backs you out when it's done. While we're here, still under Workroom Assistant, I want to show you you've got all your user documentation within the software too. Right at your fingertips, you can click on the Perfecta STP series. You've got short videos that are listed here for you to watch. You've also got your Quick Start Guide and your User's Guide as well. So a digital copy of all of our tech information, or our guides anyway, so that you can access that easily right from the VariQuest software. And then if you're ever wondering what version of software you have, just click on About VariQuest right here, this button down below. It pops up a license agreement which gives the current version of software. So our software, we are updating it on a periodic basis, and you'll be notified when we have new releases. And it's important to stay current with what we're offering. So if ever we announced that we had a new release, like for example, we just recently released version 8.0, but that'll be changing down the road, and as it does change, if you want to know where you're at and how updated you are, this is how you can find out the version. So I just wanted to point that out. Stay tuned as we send more information about future updates. And then from the main menu, this is where you're going to get started. Here's where you have the Perfecta STP series listed. You're going to click here to begin searching for your template. I talked about the digital content guide and those unique ID numbers associated with each and every template, poster and banner template. So to search for that, just go search by keyword. You would type in that ID and click next, and it goes right to that template. So a great way to narrow your search. Or if you just know what you're looking for, if you're looking for something pertaining to, I know it's a ways out. Well, let's say it's pertaining to Martin Luther King Day, which is coming up, or another event. You can just type in that search word, and it will go right to any poster templates that we offer. So again, a nice way to narrow your search if you know what you're looking for. Otherwise, I think you're going to most often do browse categories. This is a great way to familiarize yourself with all the rich content that we have available within the VariQuest software. And to make your searching easier, we've been very intentional in how we've categorized everything. So we've put it all in categories and in subcategories. Everything is alphabetized in alphabetical order, as you can see on the left column of your screen. So this software has been developed by educators for you, our educators. So again, we've been very intentional on how we've mapped everything out and the content that we feel is going to be meaningful and purposeful to all of you educators supporting the 21st century classroom, supporting project-based learning, and et cetera. So I think you're going to find this to be a great asset. I will tell you that, again, becoming familiar with the different categories and what's in all of them will really help maximize your investment. We've got the 4 main subject areas covered: English language arts, math, science, and social studies. We've got a lot of extracurricular templates as well, templates that support the fine arts for your events and celebrations. Lots of templates to help with that, with those efforts. I wanted to point out under teacher tools, we have some basic layouts as well. So if you're not finding the template that you want, and keep in mind when you're perusing the software, when you look at the various templates, many of them can be modified. So you can edit it, which I'll show you in a minute. You can modify it to your particular need and or application, but if you'd still like to lay it out on your own, go ahead and just choose a poster or banner layout that you see on these pages here, and then you can populate it with whatever graphics and with whatever text you want, so you can customize your own. I also wanted to point out you can also create your own 24-inch banners and your own 36-inch banners as well. Again, 36-inch is only available to those that have the 3600, the STP with the 36-inch wide paper, but otherwise, if not, 24 inches your max width. So you can create your own banners, though, is my point. So you can take a look at those. We've also, under whole school, this is where you're going to find your certificate subcategories. So those are those pre-designed certificates that I was mentioning. So again, become familiar with the software. I'm going to go into English language arts where we were. I'm going to stick with reading, and I'm going to choose my template just by clicking on it, and I'm going to click OK, and it's going to take me to my edit screen. By the way, I want to point out that there is a Guide Me button that will guide you step by step, page by page, on how to navigate through the software, but it is really easy. I also wanted to, I just hit the back arrow because I wanted to mention you've got a change button here as well. So we've got content for pre-K all the way through post-secondary. If ever you want to change your content preferences, you sure can. You can deselect grade levels that maybe don't pertain to the ages of the students at your school. So you can deselect those boxes as needed. And then, as I mentioned, when you find the template that you want, just click on it, click OK. It takes you to your edit screen, and over here is where you have some very easy design capabilities to really enhance your posters. So you've got these different tabs, as you can see. You've got design, text, graphics, color, and backgrounds. So under these various tabs, you've got numerous capabilities to modify your template. So under design, you can you can send things to the back or bring things forward like you can in most Microsoft programs. So you can design it that way. You can center things horizontally and vertically. You can rotate your graphics or rotate your objects, and you can delete objects as well. You can also copy and paste. I'm going to come back to that in a second. So for example, if I don't want this header, I can just click on it, and I can click delete, and it deletes it out. Now I can go to my text tab, and here's where I can enter in some new text. So I can go to my touchscreen keyboard, and I can type it from my regular keyboard as well, of course, but I type in what I want instead. By the way, there is a Spanish letters key, so you can toggle easily between the Spanish letters keyboard and the standard keyboard and type in Spanish. So we know how valuable that is as well. So once you've typed in what you wanted to say, click OK. It always positions it in the middle so that you're able to resize it. If I had my keyboard, by the way, I could change my font style easily just by typing right over it. I'm just using a mouse though today, so I'm using my down arrow. But nice to know that you can change your font size so it all is the same throughout your template. And then once you have it sized the way you want it, just drop it or position it to where you want it to go. Make it a little bit smaller. And then position it to where you want it to go. So it's just as easy as that. And then the other thing that you can do then is you can change your font style. So you can choose from a whole variety of different font styles when you view this font library. just peruse through, click on the font style that you want, and you can see that it changes it for you. You can keep it horizontal text, or you can change it to vertical text as well, very easily. And then you can bold, italicize, and underline, and left center and right justify. I've noticed when I do this, it does change my font size, so that's okay. I can just go back to where I was under the text tab, and I can adjust it down to where I want it. So you get the idea of how easy that is, and I can go through all of this text and change it how I wish. So you get the idea. I can also take like this empty graphic box, and maybe I want to put it up here instead, so I can reposition that, and I can make it a little bit smaller. So super easy, as you can see. And then note that some of the areas can't always be modified. Like if I wanted to click on this apple and change it, well, it highlights this whole border. I have the option of deleting it altogether. It would just take this whole border out. But if I just wanted to delete the apple, I'm not able to without removing the entire border. So it becomes quite obvious what you can modify simply and what maybe can't be modified. You always have an undo button too, so that's nice. If you undo something and you want to undo it, just click on the undo button. Now I have this open graphic box, so I'm going to next show you when you go into graphics, which is actually where I am right now. You can click on it and you can bring in a new graphic. I told you earlier that we have thousands of full color graphics within the software. So you can search for those by keyword or browsing categories. But you can also bring in your own graphic, and we recognize how huge that is because we want you to recognize those students. We want you to be able to fundraise by bringing in your own pictures. So just upload that photograph and put it on your poster. Great way to really engage your student, really make them proud of their accomplishments. Great way to engage parents too. Parents love to see when their students have accomplished something. It makes them just as proud, if not prouder. So why not upload their picture and really make it memorable and meaningful? Great for your CTE efforts too, when you're going to be doing a lot of different fundraising events and whatnot. You can upload prom pictures and whatever it is, sports teams, etc., and really accomplish a lot. So what you do when you find your own graphic is, like with your mascot, just have it saved on a thumb drive. Insert that, choose the drive that it's on, choose the file that your graphic is in by clicking on it, and then you'll see a graphic preview, and when you click OK, it will save it right onto your template. So easy to upload any of your own graphics. Anything from your smartphone, if you are saving it as the actual size, is going to be a great resolution. When you're looking for graphics on the internet, just be mindful that you do want a large graphic because it's going to stretch to poster size. We don't want it to appear pixelated, so look for a large graphic. The larger the better, to make sure that you get the best print quality. So I purposely did not upload one because I want to show you when you browse through the graphics within the software, just like our templates, we've sorted everything in categories and in subcategories. So just simply click on your category, click on the graphic that you want, and it adds it right to your template. You can also flip that graphic if you like, so that's very easy to do. And then earlier under the design tab, I talked about the copy and paste feature. So you can, if you want to do multiples of that particular graphic, you can do that easily with the copy and paste feature, and then you can drag that graphic to where you want it to go. So you get the idea of how easy that is, and then I can go back to text. I can make that, I can make that graphic just a little bit bigger. Graphics tab. So you get the idea of how you can navigate through this software quite easily. Also under graphics, we have simple shapes that you can add. So if I wanted to do, maybe this is a star reader, so I added a star easily. I can resize it and position it where I want it to go. So you get the idea of how to add text, modify text, add graphics, modify your graphics, change your font style, your font size, copy and paste. Simple, easy editing capabilities. Keep in mind that you always have your guide me button as well. I also want to show you under the colors tab that you can really bring your poster or banner to life by adding color to it. We know that's a great way to engage students, is adding a pop of color. So you can choose whatever color you want from the color palette, as you can see here. And then, a green, typical or true green. But you get the idea. I could continue adding more color to this particular template. If you choose a full color graphic and you recolor it, know that it turns it to that single color, but it picks up gradient of that color, so you can still differentiate and tell that's a graphic of 3 books, for example. You can also customize your colors, so you can customize it to your school colors very easily as well, so that's a nice feature. And then under backgrounds, we can get rid of this white and really make it pop by selecting a solid fill, choosing the color that we want to fill it with, and then you can also do horizontal gradient and vertical gradient as well. So you can really add some color. I will also mention at this point too, I talked earlier about the basic layout. So you can start with a graphic box or a text box. You can go to the editing screen and you can click on that object or that box and delete it. Now you're starting with a blank slate. So now you can customize it and tailor the poster however you wish. Again, sky's the limit. You can do what you want by building and using these simple editing techniques and capabilities. Under our graphics category, I will also add that we have a whole backgrounds category. So you can start with your blank slate. You can then choose a background, stretch it to the size of your blank slate, and build upon that, and really make a colorful, very engaging posters. So lots of capabilities that you can do. When you are finished modifying, just click next. Here's where you can save your changes. So this is important, of course, if you're going to recall it at a later date. You don't want to reinvent it each and every time, so just go ahead and save it. Also important, if you're using the software remotely on a different computer and you want to save it so you can export it onto your thumb drive so you can easily bring it in and print it out, you would then say yes to saving as well. So just click yes. It doesn't put it in individual file folders, but it does put it in alphabetical order. So I would suggest, if you've got a lot of teachers that are using and staff members using the Design Center, saving their files, have them save it under their last name, because it's all alphabetized. When they search for it, it's going to be so much easier. In fact, yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. So when you click OK, then it confirms that yes, your changes have been made or saved. And now it takes you to your print preview screen. So now we're getting ready to print. Here you have your size options, standard, medium, 13 by 19 or 8.5 by 11. So the default is the standard size. Your output size is always going to be listed down below. If that maybe is too big, well then you can easily switch it to medium and see how it becomes more of a medium sized poster. You can unload your roll and select 13 by 19 or 8.5 by 11 as well from the multi-sheet tray. You can also adjust your print quality, as I mentioned, best, normal, or fast. Normal is probably where you're going to be most often. You can adjust your quantity with the up and down arrow symbols, and when you click print, it sends it automatically to your Perfecta. When that blue or that pink message box goes away, like mine just did, you are able to go back to the beginning. So you can continue to build your print queue, continue to design your different posters and banners to really take advantage of your prep time. It's amazing what you can get done and what you can produce in 10 or 15 minutes because this, the equipment is just so easy to use. So continue to build upon what you've already done. While I'm still zoomed in, I will show you, this is the My Files button. So when you save something, it will appear here. Here's where your saved file name is. Again, it's all alphabetized. You can then just click on the one that you want to edit and proceed to print it again. You can delete files that aren't being used anymore. These are ones that you have tailored and modified. This is where you can also export and import as well. When you export a file, make sure you don't change the file name. It's a file, it's a TPL file, which probably doesn't mean anything to you, but it needs to stay that file format. It needs to stay that exact same way so that you can successfully import it into the software, the VariQuest software that's on a different device. And then make sure that device is the device that's connected to your Perfecta. Most often it'll probably be your Design Center, and then you can proceed to print to poster size. So that is where you find the My Files button. I want to talk next about the PDF file or feature. I mentioned on the VariQuest Resource Center we have all this great content. We've got free posters that you can download that are saved as PDF files. We've got free lessons and activities that correlate your VariQuest tools with classroom instruction. Many of those lessons that will really be helpful to your teachers, supplemental to your curriculum. Many of those lessons do contain PDF files that can be printed to poster size to support what is being taught in the classroom. So the way you do that is just have your PDF saved on your thumb drive, and then insert it, click on your My PDFs button, and then again it's going to come up as your F drive most often. Then select the folder that your PDF file is in, select the PDF that you want to upload. You get a preview of it right here, and when you click OK, it just takes seconds and it uploads it for you. It takes you right to your print preview screen, so you can, again, change your size, your print quality, your quantity, and you can proceed to print it out. So that is a super way to upload your PDFs. Also, we recognize you might be designing things on your own in a different software program. That's totally fine. If you can save it as a PDF file, you can upload it and print to poster size. If it's outside of a PDF file, well, that's okay too. Just print it on your standard printer and use the scanner to scan to print to poster size. So again, lots of capabilities on that. There's also a My PDFs or PDF to Poster video that you can watch, also residing on the VariQuest Resource Center under the training page. Watch that video if you need a little more guidance on how to print a PDF. There's also a video on how to print, modify a certificate and print a certificate as well for that additional reinforcement. But just in a nutshell, I wanted to go back to browsing categories, go back to certificate printing. Again, I find that under whole school and under certificates, when you have your certificate template, you modify it just like you do any poster or banner. So same exact editing capabilities over on the right as I was just reviewing with you. But under text, you will find the name list button. So where it says recipient name, again, you want to make sure you're utilizing your time in the best possible way. So upload that list and you'll print those certificates consecutively up to 50 at a time. So what you would do is just click on the recipient name where it's going to go, click on name list, and here's where you can go out to where a list has been saved prior from that name list button under the Workroom Assistant Setup tab. All your lists are going to appear on the left side. So just to back up real quick, here's where we were. Workroom Assistant Setup, here's that name list button. So in advance, you can tap or click on New List, and you can manually from your Design Center or your computer type in your list of names, save it. All your saved lists, as I said, will appear on the left. When you click on, you can have multiple lists. When you click on the list, your preview of names will be on the right. You can edit that list, you can remove lists, etc. Then we've given you the option to import a list. We recognize most often you're going to have that list already created in an Excel doc, so you can easily upload that Excel doc via a thumb drive and just pull the list in that way. That's going to make it the easiest, I think, for you. So that's under Workroom Assistant. So then when you are in your template, as I was pointing out, you would, as I just did, so if I, again, click on recipient's name and then on name list, then here's where we were, my saved list, the middle option, we're right back where we just were. You can choose your list, and when you click OK, your preview is right here. When you click OK again, your names are going to appear on your various certificates. Know that you can also create one on the fly, so you can easily, just click on Create List, and you can type your list of names easily on the fly, or you can import it right away from an Excel doc too. So you can do that all from when you're under the template. You can easily do it that way too. Point is, when you have your list selected, again, an individual name will appear on an individual certificate. When you get to the print preview screen, that's when you can check out. So it knows there are 4 names in my list, so it's giving me a quantity of 4. It knows my certificate paper is 8.5 by 11, so that's been the paper output size that's been changed. It's been changed to. Just have to load it in your multi-sheet tray. Here's where you can preview all the individual certificates before you print, and it's just a matter of clicking print, and they will print out for you. So Very easy to print certificates. I encourage you to give that thought when it comes time to giving some well-needed recognition to your students, your parent volunteers, and your staff members. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out again. I specifically want you to take a look at the poster as it's printing. I've been able to keep talking, and the poster's been printing, and it has not been a disruption at all. As mentioned, it's so effective, and you can see how awesome that is turning out. The quality is superior, the color is rich and vibrant. It is, again, a great tool for engaging all learners and engaging every student in your classroom, engaging your parents, and engaging your community members, because we know that's a need that you want to accomplish. You've got the right tool to help accomplish that. I am going to save on my supply. I'm going to tap on the X to stop it from printing. And as I mentioned, when you do that, it automatically stops. As you can see, it shears it off, and you know, got a great finished product that was printing very, very quickly. So hopefully you found this to be a helpful training. You're in very good hands as well with VariQuest. We are here at your service all the time. So you've got your VariQuest education consultant as your first point of contact if you need some additional supplies or want to understand where certain resources are. We also have our 800 number that you can phone into for tech support and customer service. If you happen to be one of our dealer customers, you've got an authorized VariQuest dealer in your neighborhood or in your area, you can still contact us if you need to know how to get a hold of them, or you can just call them directly. That number is 1-800-328 0585. When you listen to the prompts, it's option 2 that will connect you to customer service. Option 3 will connect you to tech support. So and they will also help direct you to your education consultant too if that's needed. So hang on to that number. We are here to troubleshoot any situation that you have going on with your Perfecta as needed to help make sure you're always up and running. We're here to provide additional training, through your rep, through these various training videos. And one last thing I want to mention is our VariQuest Resource Center. If you haven't already established a login to this exclusive site, because again, that's how you're going to maximize your investment with these free resources. So don't delay. Go out to our website, VariQuest.com. You will see where there is on the left margin a button you can click on to establish your registration. Once you're in there and you've got your registration established, you can invite everybody in your school to have their own unique registration as well, or login. Everybody can log in and access all those valuable resources. Like I said, training videos, a supplies page, downloadable posters, lesson plans, professional development. We pride ourselves in PD. We've got a number of professional development webinars that we either deliver live or that we've archived that you can watch on your own. So take advantage of that. And at this point, I just want to thank you for watching this training today. I sure hope it was helpful, and know that VariQuest is always here to support your needs. Have a great day.